WCW Bash at the Beach, 1997. Dennis Rodman's here, making his in-ring debut, as is a mystery partner of Diamond Dallas Page. Who's that gonna be? I bet it's Mabel. I mean, this show has everything from peak WCW. We got cruiserweights, we got horsemen, we got NWO, we got perhaps the death of a certain dungeon. We got Ernest the Cat Miller. It's also here, but it's kind of cool. I don't know. This is a wacky one. It's a fun one. So put on your Speedos, hike them up as tight as they can go. Let's see that bulge. And take a listen to the Apron Bump Podcast.
The hardest, talk around and disregard it. Strip you off the ground, show you what hard is. Standing strong and proud, nothing can knock this. Let's get it started.
What's up, everybody? Howdy, howdy, howdy. Welcome to the Apron Bump Podcast. I, of course, am your host, the hardest part of the ring, Kyle. How the heck is everybody doing today? I'll tell you how I'm doing. Pretty peachy. First of all, big news. Hat Kyle's back. As you can see, as you people watching on the YouTube can tell, it's a big moment. Trying it out again. Probably not going to wear a hat for a while after this. But, see, a little, maybe you could see. I don't know how small it is. The little Bermudian frag? Yeah, a Bermudian frag. Good job, Kyle. Good job. You're a good talker. Good job. I'm glad you have a podcast. Cocksucker. A Bermuda. I can't fucking. I went to Bermuda, okay? Jesus fucking Christ. Just got back. I guess technically this morning. It's a bit of a long travel home, so a little punch drunk this morning, but don't you worry. The meat of the episode was recorded before the trip, hence why I am much more brown here than I will be in a few minutes. But no, it was a good time, but it was very apropos because over there on those islands, I'm like, man, beaches, I sure am having a bash. I was saying that all the time. They couldn't stop me from saying that. And then here I am back in the homeland, looking at my screen with a mic in front of my face. I'm like, hey, the bash at the beach still continuing. Isn't that fun? Oh, I'm sleepy. But we got a fun show on our hands today. We got titles on the line. Like I said, Dennis Rodman is in the main event, which I realized I'd never really genuinely watched him wrestle before, and I was a bit surprised. I gotta say, for bad or good though, is the question. You'll just have to stay tuned and find out. We got Ric Flair versus Roddy Piper. More rods all across this show. We got Rodman, we got Roddy Piper versus Ric Flair in a match that I think I enjoyed. We worked through it, but I still think I liked it. WCW in this era, man, it's just like you realize how how important strong characters are, and we have that to different degrees all throughout this show. It's very identifiable characters that people get into, and to an extent that I think might be missing nowadays. But that's why it's interesting to go back and see how it was done before. I mean, the crowd is hot throughout this whole show. And nary a Canadian destroyer or whatever. I mean, there are like lucha matches where people are having confetti come out their ass and they're doing backflips and they're doing the Who's the Wazzles and the La Parka and Bismarck Jr. and all that stuff. So there's that fun stuff. Chris Jericho versus Ultimo is a juicy piece of meat that I just want to rub my tongue all over. But the crowd didn't really. Yeah, I'm not going to talk too much about what we talk about in the podcast. But there's a lot of interesting talking points here. Like a more Mortis Glacier shenanigans. We got Benoit versus Kevin Sullivan in a loser leaves town match. Man, I wonder who's going to win that one. That was crazy, and there's a lot of wackiness, is what I'm trying to say here. And it was a fun time talking about it with my good buddy Blackhawk Walker, making his debut on the Apron Bump, and it was a hoot talking with Blackhawk about WCW, a promotion that he holds near and dear to his heart, as we'll talk about, I think, in the beginning of the recording here. So go check out Blackhawk wherever you stream, wherever you watch streaming. He's on Twitch, he's on YouTube, he's in my backyard for some reason. I don't know why he's there. But no, he does a lot of great wrestling content. Check out his YouTube, his Discord, his Twitch, all that stuff. He's a great follow on social media, so go follow him on X and all that stuff. All of his information will be in the description. We had a fun time talking some WCW. And while you're following people, go ahead, follow me at Apron Bump all across the board. Been having a lot of fun with TikTok and some YouTube exclusive stuff recently. So if you're not checking me out on those platforms, quit dilly-dallying and get on it. All right, pal. But hey, before we get to the show, gotta remind you to stay tuned to the end of the episode, where the hardest promotion battle of 1997 continues. WWF versus WCW versus ECW. We pit the three promotions against each other, and we see which promotion is doing the best as of this point in time. So as of July 13th, 1997, because we're covering all this stuff chronologically. If you're listening to the Apron Bump and you're following along, by the way, if you're not, if you're just jumping in cold and you want to hop along the journey, get in the train, well, I'll leave a description. I'll leave a link in the description to where you can check out all of these chronological shows that we're covering from all these three companies. You can also go to apronbump.com, go to the episodes tab, and select Wrestling Wars of the 90s. And you'll find that all there. There's also a playlist on YouTube, if you'd rather do it that way. Or, of course, you can go to whatever podcast platform you listen to and just type in this stuff. But, yes, the hardest promotion battle of 1997. We'll touch on that at the end of the episode. We look at the best, the worst, in-ring, out-of-ring, TV, pay-per-views. We'll grade the show. It's a fun time. But whatever promotion has the most points at the end of 1997 will receive a purchase from yours truly of a championship belt of that promotion. As you can see over my right shoulder, we have the Intercontinental title from 1996, as WWF was hardest in 1996. Who will be hardest in 1997? Again, just stay tuned to the end of the episode where that journey continues. And I think I've babbled enough. Let's get into this bad boy. WCW Bash at the Beach, 1997, with myself and Blackhawk Walker.
I recorded a video a couple weeks ago, did 40 minutes. My microphone was off the entire time.
Oh, that sucks.
I played the video back. I was like, no.
Well, at least you got to just get your thoughts out, right? It was probably some good therapy, some self-reflection.
Yeah, just talk to myself the entire time.
Yeah, it happens to the best of us, man.
Don't
you worry. But I mean, that's no day at the beach when that happens. But speaking of which, speaking of beaches, speaking of bashes, Bash at the Beach 97, man. Did you get a chance to check out the show once again?
Oh, yeah. This, interestingly, was the second wrestling show I ever watched.
Really?
WrestleMania 28?
What a series of shows to watch. I would have guessed it was like whatever pay-per-view was like Great American Bash 97 and then this, but no. It
was so I didn't get into wrestling until was it 2012? Whatever WrestleMania was for that year was the first event I ever watched.
Interesting.
I remember. I think it was 28.
Let me see here. WrestleMania 28. 8. I feel like that wasn't a good show if I'm remembering
It
correctly.
was not. In retrospect, it was not.
Was this Once in a Lifetime? Rock
Uh,
and Cena?
yeah, I think so. Yeah.
So that I actually did rewatch that somewhat recently. There are 3 great matches on that show. Everything else is go ahead and skip it.
But yeah, my buddy invited me to watch WrestleMania. And then I was hanging out with him like a week later, and he had this on DVD. I was like, "You want to watch this?" I was like, "Sure."
Hell
I've only seen it a handful of times, but yeah, there's like a nostalgic love for the show because of it was the second event I've ever watched.
The nostalgia for 2012. Oh man, yeah, I get
The
you.
nostalgia.
That's goddamn. I guess that's 13 years ago. So I guess that's
Yeah, it is. It is a
fair
while
game.
now thinking about it.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, yeah. I mean, I was going to ask if you were watching this live, but I suppose not.
No, I was born in '96, so
So yeah, full diaper, watching Dennis Rodman, being like,
yeah,
throwing trash at the TV. I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'm sure you were there.
throw my bottle.
Have you gone back and watched like a lot more WCW from this era?
Yes, I watched a couple years ago. I went back and did entire Monday Night War watch through, where I would watch a Raw, then a Nitro, Raw, then Nitro.
Mhm.
I did that for a long time and almost finished it, but at one point I was just like, dude, Nitro sucks. It's like,
Really?
yeah, it's like Raw is like, Raw is pretty good, but Nitro is like really hitting that decline of WCW. I was like, Nitro is just not good anymore.
Yeah, that's what I hear. I'm not looking forward to getting to that point because I never watched WCW as a kid, so I'm watching all this stuff for the first time, all the nitros and stuff. And at this point, because I'm doing pretty much the same thing, I'm watching WWF and Nitro and also ECW all in one chronological timeline.
Yeah.
At this point in time, WCW is kicking both of their asses, in my opinion.
Yeah. It's early day Nitro, leagues ahead of Monday Night Raw. Leagues ahead.
So I mean, yeah, because like Raw had like the Stone Cold and Hart Foundation stuff is really good at this point, but everything you got like Honky Tonk Man pulling his pud over there with Rockabilly and Taka Michinoku. Like it's there's some fine stuff, but yeah, WCW it just like feels like the characters are so strong. That's kind of like the theme.
Strong and like the good wrestlers are getting enough time to show that they're good. Like Taka Michinoku is easily top 50 Japanese wrestler of all time, and he was getting like 5-minute spots on WWE TV as like a caricature of a Japanese wrestler almost.
Hey, first ever light heavyweight champion, man. You can't sneeze at that.
True. Can't sneeze at it.
The coveted light heavyweight title. Wrestlers such as Scotty Too Hot. No, did he? I don't think he had it.
I think he did.
Dean Malenko had it.
Yes.
That's something.
Jeff Hardy.
Jeff Hardy. I think he was wearing a hat when he won it. So that's something.
Yeah.
But yeah, no Jeff Hardy on this show.
He had that, and Matt Hardy had the European Championship at the same time.
What a power duo. The light heavyweight champion and the European champion. I mean, what can't they accomplish? You know?
Yeah, the lowest of the mid card titles.
The mid card to the mid card. Yeah. I hear you. But no, this show, I mean, it was a great show. I thought it flowed really well, which in some of the WCW shows I've watched, it feels like they'll structure it like, here's all the cruiserweights, and then here's all the main eventers, which that's kind of what this show was, but I felt like it kind of had ebbs and flows where it's like, here's a high-paced, high-flying match, and then here's like a brawl, and then here's another lucha match, and then here's a brawl. Like it felt like it just flowed really well and it was paced well. I mean, overall, we'll touch on everything, of course, but overall thoughts at Bash at the Beach '97?
I think it's carried very heavily by the first half of the event. For some reason, you get into the NWO tag. Roddy Piper and Ric Flair was good, and then you get basically anything the NWO was involved in. Just didn't do it for me. And so like that front half though, like you get to Chris Jericho and Ultimo Dragon, and then the Steiner brothers and Great Muto, Juventud Guerrero, Hector Garza, all that match crazy. Like those three matches right there carry this show almost for me.
Right.
You get those early, so
yeah, I definitely. I don't know, I guess we'll get into it. I have some thoughts on that, but I mean, because we open up. Tom, you talk about the first half being great, and I don't know if I agree because it cuts to the commentary team, and Dusty Rhodes isn't wearing a Hawaiian shirt. The fuck's that about? It didn't get he's wearing a black button up with a lay on.
I don't know.
Is that what he wears to the beach, Dusty? Fucking
Dusty does what Dusty does. That's outside of our wheelhouse. That's between him and God.
Yeah. Probably doesn't really know what to do at a beach now that I'm thinking about it.
Yeah.
Don't know. But no, they set the tone with the set, the tiki hut or whatever the hell, the surfboards. I love that. Oh, yeah. It feels like I'm watching a pay-per-view.
It's one of my favorite things about going back and watching some of these old events. Like, I think now the wrestling itself is better. But going back and like these events feel like they're separated from a weekly event and there's something special happening in front of us, even if like the event is not great.
Right.
Like we were talking about WrestleMania 28, there's 3 matches on that card that were actually really good, but the whole spectacle of the event kind of separates it from, everything else you could watch.
Yeah, no, definitely. But speaking of spectacle, nothing says spectacle more than Mortis and Wrath taking on the team of Glacier and Ernest the Cat Miller.
What a match.
What a cast of characters. I mean, geez Louise.
What a match.
I've come to, I don't know if it's a guilty pleasure because I'm not guilty about liking it, but this whole deal, the Mortal Kombat stuff, the goofy martial arts, like I kind of dig it in a way. I don't know if I could say this was a good match per se, but I was entertained by it. I don't know. What did you think about this one?
I would say it's an incredibly entertaining match for sure.
Yeah.
I really like the Mortis and Wrath characters, even though they were very short-lived as far as like the whole time span of things are. And I think Glacier is one of the more underrated wrestlers on the WCW roster, and he was just stuck with a gimmick that only had a short viable time frame.
Shelf life,
yeah, because Glacier, like at some point you got to do something different. Like he very much like Steve Blackman, and Steve Blackman was able to carry out a couple of years out of his character of just being himself. I think if Glacier had like a better, more normal character, he probably could have gone on to WWE after the merger and been completely fine. But
would you say that the Glacier melted?
The Glacier did indeed melt. Yep.
So yeah, no, I agree. It was interesting because like when you watch Glacier in his very early matches, he comes off like such a fish out of water. Like he's trying. Yeah. It's too on the nose, like karate guy, where he's only doing the kicks and the hua, but then he like progresses over time to incorporate the traditional wrestling stuff, and it feels like so quickly he like figures it out. So
he got it together because I remember watching his first match, and I was like, this guy is crazy.
Stinks. Yeah.
And then you like watch him progress, and you're like, okay, this guy is actually just like an incredible athlete and knows combat sports very well. And once he got it down, I was, I'll watch your Glacier match and be like, wow, I don't know why he didn't ever, make it big.
Yeah, no, he's still around though. Wasn't he like in one of Cody Rhodes, like his entourage or something, right? Like at the first All In or something?
Potentially.
I don't know.
I feel like, let me see.
I feel like he like has a school or something crazy. What's Glacier doing nowadays? Glacier wrestler. Let's see here. Ron, what's his name? Ray Lloyd.
Yeah.
Good old Ray. Let's see here. What's the Wikipedia got to say? So he has some AEW credits. In 2019, he was on the debut pay-per-view Double or Nothing.
Yeah, he's a full-time coach for AEW right now.
Oh, he was in the Casino Battle Royal. So we can say that Glacier wrestled in AEW.
Yeah.
There we go.
It's
there
crazy.
We go. I think we need to bring him back for a full-time run, personally.
I agree.
Don't know if I feel the exact same about Ernest the Cat Miller, though. I don't. So until like a few weeks ago, all I knew of this guy was the Somebody Call My Mama stuff in WWE that was like awful. But man, he's a legit was it Taekwondo or karate? He's like one
karate,
of those.
Yeah.
His kicks look good, man. I mean, he's doing the springboard kicks, which in '97 was pretty crazy. I mean, I thought his stuff looked good. I didn't mind his. He kind of feels like the odd one out here, but I don't know. I kind of didn't hate his involvement here. What'd you think about him?
Yeah, I went back and looked because I couldn't remember why he was there. And basically, Mordos and Wrath had been attacking Glacier because Mordos was 0-2 against Glacier. Glacier's still undefeated up until this point. And Ernest Miller helped Glacier after they attacked him one time, and that literally led up to this match. But yeah, Ernest Miller, I think, another one of those where he's an incredibly gifted athlete, understands combat sports, kind of a goofball, but but yeah, he's very enjoyable to watch. Definitely not somebody I'd probably put, at the top of the card, but he's in a good spot right here where he's opening the show and he's showcasing that definitely can do this.
Yeah, no, for sure. It was a fine match, fine opener here. It was an interesting finish. So we got Glacier hits a DDT to Mortis, goes for the pin, but James Vandenberg, who's out there with Mortis and Wrath, pulls Mortis's foot underneath the bottom rope and wraps a chain around Mortis's foot.
Yeah.
And then as Glacier is distracted by Vandenberg, super kicks him off the apron. Mortis, with this chain-loaded foot, super kick to Glacier, which is Glacier's move, the cryonic kick, I believe it's called.
Yeah.
And that knocks out Glacier, gets Mortis and Wrath the win, which is the first time Glacier's been pinned in WCW, which he's been there for a while now. So
yeah,
pretty significant. But yeah, interesting finish. I don't know. What'd you think about that?
I did think it was interesting. I really just wasn't expecting Glacier to take the pin. Especially because when I watched it the first time, I didn't know any of the history of this, and so it didn't really stick with me. And then now, after looking back at it and knowing sort of the history, I'm like, Glacier. This is Glacier's first loss was Bash at the Beach.
By the way, this is a hilarious introduction to WCW. This is the first match you saw from them. It's like, oh, is this what it all is? They're in a beach, but they're also icy superheroes. What's going on here?
To be fair, I did watch a Best of Monday Night Nitro DVD before this. So, but it was just matches throughout the years of Nitro. Right. So I had an idea of who some of these people were. But yeah, I didn't realize that this was the end of his winning streak, which is what a crazy way to go out.
The streak is over. It's Undertaker, the numbers behind him. Yeah. Legendary moment here. Big moment. But starting the show off hot or cold.
Yeah,
Glaciers.
very cold.
Glaciers are ice. So you were born in 1996, so I assume you never had an AIM account?
No.
AOL?
Yeah, I did have an AOL account right before that all kind of shut down.
Because remember your username?
AOL account? No.
Not at all. You do. You used to want to say it.
No, I literally have no idea. I was 8. I had it for 3 months, and then it was nobody used AOL anymore.
Just all alone, nobody online.
Yeah.
Depressing. Well, you could have, if you were, at a older age at this point, you could have been talking to DDP
Yeah.
here on AOL. But luckily, I Love Cows was able to get a message across asking DDP who his partner is going to be later tonight. And of course, DDP is not going to respond to I Love Cows. He's going to make everybody wait.
Obviously.
So.
I think it's something that the WWE and even AEW should adopt now. I think there's like a way you could do it that would be really good if you had like a handful of wrestlers that were like on, what, Reddit or whatever, doing
like an AMA or something. Yeah.
Something like that. Something where there is like moderation, because if you're doing it like they were doing it, you're going to get some crazies. But I think that could be something really cool to have during the show. Think about, AEW had, what was it? I can't even think of the name of it, in Mexico yesterday.
Dynamite?
No. It was. I can't believe I can't think of this. I was looking at the logo earlier.
What was it, like the name of the show?
Yeah, they changed the name of the show. It's like a special, but they had it in Mexico. And you could have talked to like, Tony Storm. She didn't have a match. Stuff like that. Swerve Strickland, I don't think he had a match. Right. Could be a good idea, boost fan engagement, but
yeah, as long as it was moderated, because I can see that getting pretty dicey pretty quick.
Exactly. There are some crazies out here in the internet wrestling fan base.
Yeah, no, that's for sure. Very. I don't know if I would trust them to talk to Ultimo Dragon or Chris Jericho. Speaking of which,
no, definitely not Chris Jericho for sure.
Yeah, especially not nowadays. Let's not ixnay that. But we got a better version of Jericho here. The cruiserweight champion, Chris Jericho.
Arguably the best version of Chris Jericho.
I don't hate that. I don't hate that opinion. I mean, right now, because he's still babyface Jericho, I think perhaps maybe he hits his stride when he turns a heel. But I guess we'll just have to see. But so he's defending against Ultimo Dragon here. And one thing I like this I felt like the crowd wasn't as into this as they should have been.
No. Yeah, this was an incredible match. And the crowd was not feeling it.
It's like if you watch this on mute, you'd be like, oh, this is a barn burner. But when you turn the sound on, it's like, oh, the crowd does. Is it because maybe they don't care about Chris Jericho at this point?
I think that you're seeing a completely different style than what the WCW crowd is used to. Because Chris Jericho and Ultimo Dragon had a very long history in Japan, and they wrestled this match like they were in Japan. There's nothing wrong with it. I prefer matches like that. But the WCW crowd is looking forward to, Roddy Piper and Ric Flair, which is a completely different style than what we get in this. And so they're watching and they're like, oh, nobody's.
They're too stupid. Just say it. Just say it. They're the tiny little brains can't comprehend what they're seeing. I'm with you. But like legitimate, like it is like a newer style in America at this point. So like they open up because like you said, they have a long history in Japan, so they have this chemistry built up. So they're like countering everything the other guy's doing. They're doing like a mirror image, like they both drop kick at the same time. They're dueling arm drags and stuff, and it's pretty pedal to the metal all the way through. But I really enjoyed this one.
Yeah, it was a great match. And I think one thing I think this show does really well that I forgot to mention earlier is they keep matches under 15 minutes and they still feel full and exciting. Because this match was only 13 minutes. And it was jam-packed full of action. The tag match before it was only a little shy of 10 minutes. And you feel like you've watched a whole match. And sometimes nowadays you'll get like these 20-minute cinematic matches and be like, bro, nothing happened for 10 minutes.
It's just long for the sake of being long.
Long to fill a time slot. But I think this match was probably my favorite match on the card.
Wow.
I would have to say. But yeah, this is a really, really good one. If anybody asked for a recommendation from this event, I would point them to Chris Jericho and Ultimo Dragon, which feels weird to say in 2025 that I'm recommending Chris Jericho.
You got to catch the learning tree, man. He was killing it.
Yeah.
Said no one ever, but no, yeah, I agree that it felt like there was a lot of urgency in this match. Like there wasn't a lot of fat to it.
Yeah, they both wanted to walk out as champion. Is what it felt like.
Yeah, for sure. It was very like it had like the high flying elements. You had the very ambitious top rope drop kick from Jericho to which when people hear top rope drop kick, they think, oh, you're jumping off the top rope. No, they were both standing on the top rope. Jericho tries to drop kick him, but doesn't really connect. But they both kind of fall anyways. Because why wouldn't you? And
you gotta sell the move.
Yeah, I guess whatever. But other than that, it was pretty clean. That Asai moonsault from Dragon. Jericho low key has like some of the most vicious chops. Like, of all time. They're so like particularly here.
Good, yeah.
And Dragon's kicks are always so stiff as well.
Yeah.
And I really like the finish. So you have Ultimo Dragon, he hits a moonsault onto Jericho and then goes for a tiger suplex, but Jericho counters into a tiger bomb attempt, but Dragon counters that into a Hurricane Rana pin, but then Jericho rolls through that pin into a pin of his own and gets the win. So ultimately, like they knew each other very well, so it had to be that last counter that got it.
Yeah, great finish.
Yeah, so Jericho retains. Jericho, by the way, he won on a untelevised show against Six, which was interesting. It was like it was a deal where they were like, you could like go on the World Wide Web and like get the live updates. Maybe that was their way of incentivizing people to
you go to their website and all that. But that is funny because they talked about during the match on commentary that Six still said he was the champion because nobody saw him lose.
There's no evidence.
There's no evidence that he lost.
I do like that actually. I guess
it's really funny. But
I've never seen it, so who am I to say he's wrong?
Yeah.
Filthy Jericho just stole the belt from him. You hate to see it. But man, we go from that to Raven. A newly debuted Raven just showed up on the last episode of Nitro. He's Mean Gene's getting the skinny. He's got the mic and he walks over to Raven, who's sitting ringside. He's got Stevie Richards with him, which I didn't really know Stevie Richards was a part of this in WCW, which is interesting to me.
Stevie Richards will always make me laugh whenever I see him. Even when he was with Right to Censor, he'd come out and I was like, bro, that's Stevie Richards. Yeah. Booty shorts and crop tops. He's out here. So we need to cover up.
So good. So Raven, so they're trying to is Raven going to be DDP's partner? What is Raven signed to WCW? What is he doing here? And Raven he's just being cryptic and quoting books or whatever the hell Raven does. And he says Stevie Richards says there's going to be a big announcement on Nitro, and Raven slaps him. I guess he wasn't supposed to let the cat out of the bag. What did you think about this whole deal? The
whole event, they're sitting next to each other still, which is hilarious. Like they didn't pull Stevie Richards out at all. He just sat back down.
It's like modern day.
Just beat the hell out of him, and he's just gonna sit next to him.
That's what Raven does. Yeah, it's fine. We're good.
He's like, yeah, I messed up. Okay.
Because current day, they'll show wrestlers ringside, but it's just them popping in for a second and then they leave. But they're literally just here all night watching the show.
The whole night. Because I didn't think about that until I think it was when we get down into Ric Flair. He goes over to that area, and I was like, they're still sitting there. I've gotten so used to busting people in and out in these spots so they can be part of the audience for a match or whatever. Mm-hmm. Didn't realize they sat front row the entire show.
I love the commitment. Love it.
That's so funny. But yeah, I think Raven is a cool character that I think with a couple tweaks could get over now in this day and age. But I think in some form he was a little ahead of his time
Too smart.
with his character. Yeah, I think he was a little ahead of what he needed to be for his character at this time. I think now he would have doing it now in a current context. I think he would have done incredible.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think signing Raven was a big get for WCW, especially with the popularity of ECW and their rise. Raven was a big player in WCW, so that's huge.
Yeah.
And Stevie Richards, funny enough, still a big player in ECW. So getting both of them is pretty big.
Yeah, I mean, they're basically just doing the same shtick they were doing in ECW, which is crazy to see. But yeah, no, it was good to see him. Yeah, Raven, I mean, he was just ECW champion like maybe a month before this, so they're really capitalizing on his momentum.
Yep.
But more on him later, I guess. But we go from that to a tag team match. We got the Steiner brothers taking on NWO Japan, the team of Masahiro Chono and the Great Muta, representing NWO here. And if the Steiners win this match, they get a tag team title shot against the Outsiders. I enjoy everybody involved in this one. This felt kind of like a bit rough around the edges at some points, but this was kind of a silly match. But I think I enjoyed it. What do you think about this one?
I liked it too. Yeah, definitely rough around the edges. This is not the best match I've seen out of any of these four guys.
Right.
One thing that I couldn't get over was Scott's hair. I don't know if you picked up on it. Jet black, like pulled back into a tight ponytail. I forgot that he looked like that at one point.
The goatee throws me off as well. Yeah, it's like he's in between Steiner Brothers tie-dye and Big Papa Pump. He's like in the middle of the transformation, so it's like this awkward period.
Middle stage of the evolution. So it was very, very funny to see, because I remember watching him walk out and be like, what the hell has he got on his head? And then like Rick, comes out in the goatee and the headset, and he's like, oh, that's okay, so that one's Scott.
Right. That's the only reason you knew it was Scott, because he didn't have the headgear.
Didn't have the headgear. Yeah, Muta, great as always. Chono is somebody that I recently started watching more of, because I just started getting into New Japan a little bit more. So I've watched some of his matches. I'm trying to gear up for the G1 coming up. I was watching some of the older G1 stuff, and he won the G1 I think like 3 times. So no, he's I haven't seen as much of him as I'd like to. I always enjoy watching Muta though. Yes.
Sick face paint, by the way, from Muta, with the NWO painted on his face with the black. I mean, maybe I don't know if that's I don't know if it's not okay.
Did you see the other guy that had it painted? I don't know if it was at this event, but I saw it going around Twitter a couple weeks ago. He had NWO on his mouth. I was like, I don't know about that one. It's like, this is a little bit better because it's like across this way. It's like very clear that it's trying to be like an NWO logo. This guy, I was like, I don't know about this one. We're diving into a territory I don't know if I want to be in.
It was crazy because when Muta was putting on this face paint, at some point it was just black. So it's like, I don't know. I don't know about that one, Muta. It's 97. Everything's fair game.
Yep.
But yeah, no, it was a mix of the Steiners and their meathead, just pick you up, put you down type of moves, and Muta has like the finesse of this foursome, I guess. But I thought Chono was a really fun dickhead heel, jawing with the fans ringside, and but ultimately the Steiners get the win here with, I guess, a Doomsday DDT.
Yep,
as I would call it, which looked nasty.
Yeah.
And they get the win here, so they earn a tag team title shot. But yeah, solid match. Nothing I would go out of my way to watch again. But I was
right. Like, it's good if you're watching the event, but it's not something I'm going to go look up on YouTube to try to, get a wrestling fix in.
Yeah, I mean, like it's a good like you got the cruiserweight match, and then we got a couple juiced up guys, and then now we go back to the luchadors. So it's a little good palate cleanser, some may say. But yeah, we moved from that to a lucha 6-man tag. You have the team of Hector Garza, Juventud Guerrera, and Lizmark Jr. versus the team of La Parca, Psychosis, and Viano 4 with Sonny Ono. I thought this ruled. I thought like some of these sometimes these lucha matches, like especially when it's like a chaotic, like a bunch of guys involved, sometimes it could be a little botchy and a little disjointed, but I thought this one flowed really well, and I had a ball watching this.
Yeah, like MLW does a lot of stuff with CMLL, and they'll have like these 6-man lucha matches on their shows a lot of times, and sometimes they'll be very, very good, and it's a lot of times it's like older guys in these matches, and you're just like, all right, man, like it's great to see you, but
like Juventud is probably wrestling in some of those matches still, right? Yeah,
I think who was there? Somebody, I think Hector Garza was in one of them, if I remember right.
I think Hector passed away.
Never mind then.
Like early 2000. I could be wrong. I could hold on.
Somebody that was like popular in WCW was in one of them. Can't think of who it was, but I was like, all right, man, it's like you're 80 years old, man.
Yeah.
But this one was fantastic. Definitely match 2 for me of the night. Very, very neck and neck with Jericho and Ultimo Dragon.
Right.
As far as who takes number 1 spot, I could watch this tomorrow and this 6-man tag could take the spot. So it's just very, very, very good match.
Any spots in particular stick out to you in this one?
The 6-man no one home. They all jumped off the top rope on trying to get somebody else. Everybody missed.
Yeah. But boy howdy, they jumped high and it was exciting, right?
Yeah. It was so funny because like the first time it happened, I was like, okay, they're gonna get the next one. Nope. Just nope. Very, very funny.
To be honest, I don't even know if I noticed really. I was like, oh, look at that, you're jumping. Oh my god, lucha. But yeah, the synchronized dives were a hoot throughout all of this, and the classic like I think these lucha, like it has all the tropes, you know, when like everybody's taking turns jumping off the top and missing the boom like from each corner, and the synchronized. There's one point where like all the heels are like down next to each other, and Juventud like does a splash on all 3 of them.
Yeah.
Like I think this type of match works when there's just one match like this on the card. Like if it's like a bunch of these in a row, it's like, all right, enough.
Yeah.
But no, I think this was a perfect spot.
Yeah, especially on like a non-lucha show, like one of these, and they can steal the show, and you can double dip and ruin both of them.
Yeah, no, for sure.
So, yeah.
It was a tough one to take notes on, to be honest. It was just like a mile a minute here.
Yeah, that one I watched that one 3 times, and I was like, all right, I gotta find at least a spot that I can write down. And that one was the one that stuck out to me on my 3rd shot. It was like, they all missed.
I need to look back at that because I honestly didn't notice. I'm one of these WCW fans that doesn't care. It's too stupid. I did notice though, Psychosis almost breaking Juventud's neck with a code red off the top rope. Jeez Louise. Oh, his future Mexicals. Forming the bond there, I guess. Juventud propelling off of Garza's back, which he like went 20 feet in the air somehow. It was crazy. And at some point, Viano 5 comes out to replace Viano 4, but fucking bum ass Viano 5 still ends up losing. Even though he's the fresh guy, he gets a drop kick from Garza and then a moonsault. He's done. It's like that's why you're the 5th Viano, pal.
That would also crack me up.
5th string Viano
thing and did not change a single thing.
God damn, this fucking. Who's your favorite Viano?
I I don't even know. I'd probably say 4, honestly. I like
Mm,
4 a lot.
yeah, I missed the
Yeah,
first 3, so I was totally lost in this match.
yeah.
Um,
But 5 came in like an idiot. He just rolled in, took a moonsault, and he's done for the night.
what's Viano 5 doing now? Watch him be like somebody significant. Viano
Be funny.
5. Who are you? Raymundo Diaz Mendoza. Oh, he died a year ago. Well, good. Fuck him, I guess. I don't know. Let's see here. Did he do anything prominent? He's wrestled in Mexico for like 20 years. Well, guess I could have guessed that. But no, yeah, fun match, fun shootout of a match, and again, just a good, little dash of this, a little dash of Benoit.
Yeah.
That's kind of how this show flowed. Speaking of which, we got a retirement match on our hands. Loser leaves town. Chris Benoit versus Kevin Sullivan. Oof. A lot to unpack. To unpack in this one.
Yeah.
This feud's been brewing for a while. A lot of real life implications here.
Yes. Real life beef going on here.
I couldn't shake man, if Kevin Sullivan just would have won this match, how much would have been saved? You know what I'm saying? I think it's all Kevin Sullivan's fault. Thoughts?
I don't think much would have been saved in the end. I think it all still would have happened. Because by this point, Benoit and Nancy are well into together.
Right. Maybe a few less bumps on the head, perhaps, if he had to retire.
Right. But in reality, he just signed to WWE earlier. Like WWE is not interested in Kevin Sullivan at this time.
You don't think so?
I love Kevin Sullivan. I think Kevin Sullivan was great, but they're definitely not interested in Kevin Sullivan. If Chris Benoit leaves, WWE is 100% calling his phone. He'd be in a match the next week. So I don't think Benoit losing would do much of anything.
Yeah, no, you're probably right. But man, this
he'd probably just go back to Japan if WWE didn't call.
If anything, I might have amplified it or accelerated it. But yeah, so it's retirement match. I guess it's no DQ, which is very exemplified by them, brawling towards the stage. They make use of all the surfboards and the tiki, whatever the hell is Jimmy Hart, for whatever reason, who's out there with Kevin Sullivan.
Jimmy Hart's beating up Chris Benoit, which was a hilarious visual.
These kicks he's throwing, man. Was he river dancing on this guy? Like, Jacqueline's offense is way more convincing than Jimmy Hart's. I'll just put it that way.
Jacqueline was beating the hell out of Chris Benoit.
She was the most active person in this match.
Yeah, that was what was so funny about this match to me, was Jacqueline was just beating the hell out of Chris, and then Kevin Sullivan would come up and like toss her to the side and then go back and attack Chris Benoit, and then she would like push Sullivan away. It's like she wanted a piece of Benoit.
She was like rabid. I don't know what her deal was.
I can't remember why. One, she was with Sullivan, and two, why she hated Benoit so much. But yet whatever he did, she did not like him. So
I know she had beef with Nancy, but Nancy's not there. Maybe she's not there. She's got to take it out on somebody. I don't know.
True.
I don't know. But yeah, they're brawling all over the place. I mean, the hatred and the heat definitely comes off. I mean, from the bell, it's just like trading fists, and it felt very stiff, which making the best out of a bad situation in real life. So
it was. I still think it was a great match. Sullivan had this, pretty much had the whole match in his hand up until like the last couple of minutes when Benoit really took over, and Jacqueline turned on Sullivan. But, but I thought Sullivan had this the entire way, because I couldn't remember when was it with the Outsiders? That was what was that group with Eddie Guerrero and Perry Saturn? And
Oh, the Radicals.
the Radicals. I couldn't remember when the Radicals debuted, so I was like, oh, maybe this is the moment when he gets out of WCW.
Oh yeah, no, we're
yeah.
still like 3 years away, I think, from that.
Yeah, we're still a little ways away. But yeah, I still think this was a great match. Definitely not one of the best of the night, but you can definitely tell that they were striking with intent. There was
Yeah.
they were not holding back on this one.
It came off very genuine, which, for the viewer, it's a good thing. Yeah.
What JR would call a slobber knocker.
Tougher than a $2 steak, this match was, some may say. But yeah, no, Sullivan was kind of dominating for a bit. I mean, with the help of Jacqueline and Jimmy Hart. At some point,
Benoit of Jimmy Hart.
I can't get over those kicks. A little
bit of help he did.
It was all for show, ultimately. Benoit has a crossface on Sullivan for a while. I thought there was pretty good drama there at that. I thought that might have been it. But he eventually gets to the ropes, and then Sullivan kind of regains control for a bit, does his like tree of woe knees in the corner, does 3 of them. And then Jacqueline pulls out a chair from under the ring, a wooden chair.
Yeah, a wooden chair is a good note to make.
I think we need to bring back wooden chairs, personally.
I agree. That the visual of the chair just breaking over his back does so much more for me than a steel chair, like denting. Like a whole chair breaking is crazy.
It just comically explode because she pulls it out. She gets in. She wants to smash Benoit with it, but Sullivan wants the chair for himself. And Jacqueline, ain't no man gonna tell me what to do. Smashes Kevin Sullivan in the head with it, and the chair just splinters everywhere. Benoit top rope headbutt for the win. And Kevin Sullivan is out of here. He's still booking, but no more wrestling, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, he still works here, but hey, we're not. He's gonna make you on TV anymore.
I mean, this Benoit stuff has been pretty good, but every other Kevin Sullivan match I've ever seen is like, I don't know, man. I mean, maybe back in the day he was good, but
you got to kind of get out of WCW to get some really good Kevin Sullivan matches. Because he had some really good ones with like Dusty Rhodes, some really good ones with Ric Flair. Before he took up this, Taskmaster gimmick. And even like early Nitro when he was doing it wasn't terrible, but I think the gimmick like swallowed up anything he was doing.
I'm more of a Dave Sullivan guy myself, but that's just me. Good old Evad.
Fair enough.
Fucking rabbits or whatever he was doing. But I guess because Jimmy Hart's berating Kevin Sullivan after the maze. You let us down.
Yeah.
Is this the end of the Dungeon of Doom officially, or does Jimmy Hart take it over? Do you know?
I think this is officially the end of the Dungeon of Doom.
I mean, it's kind of spare parts at this point. It's really just the
there's
faces
almost
of fear.
Because they moved the Giant out of the Dungeon of Doom. He's not too far removed from joining the NWO, I think.
Brutus Beefcake, or who cares where he is? I think he's a disciple. He comes back as.
Yeah, and then I think it's pretty much just dead in the water at this point. So I would assume, I don't remember very well, but because I think they had more of a quiet departure. I don't think it was a very breakup kind of thing. I think it was Kevin Sullivan's done, and they just kind of went their separate ways and started doing their own things. Kind of like Imperium now, other than kicking out
Vinci.
Vinci. Like, they're not apparently. I found out the other day. Apparently, Imperium is done. Like they're just not doing anything together anymore. I was like, that's crazy, but All right.
I don't really understand. Like Kaiser hasn't been on TV in a while as of recording
Yeah.
this. It's like, I don't know. Maybe they have a plan for something. I don't know. But
Yeah. And then like same thing with Damage Control. They announced last week that Damage Control was done.
yeah.
Which is kind of crazy. They're all starting to come back and they're like, no, Damage Control. We're cutting it.
Yeah, I guess Dakota's out of there, and
Yeah.
EO's champ. Bailey's going for another title. I guess it's kind of a natural. They could always come back.
I'm assuming they're gonna come back. I have a feeling the fans love Damage Control, heel or face, and so I think we'll get Damage Control reunion pretty soon.
Yeah, maybe a Dungeon of Doom reunion one day. Who are we throwing in a modern day Dungeon of Doom, do you think?
Dungeon of Doom.
I guess from any promotion.
Any promotion.
Maybe you throw Omos in there.
Yeah.
Could be like the new Giant.
Yeah. I would maybe go Tatum Paxley.
Okay. That's a good shout. Good shout
or
out.
Wendy Chu.
Yeah.
They're kind of going along that kind of creepy, like, aesthetic.
Karrion Kross, maybe?
Yeah, Karrion Kross would be good. He'd be a good lead.
Yeah. He's modern day Kevin Sullivan.
Yeah, he'd be a very good lead for that. Let's see. There's somebody on AEW that I just can't think of right now. Evil Uno.
Evil Uno. He would work. That does make sense. This is a funny pull, but it works.
I saw something on Twitter from him today, and I was like, Evil Uno.
He's still around. He's still doing stuff, I think.
Good stuff. He's still living. He got married.
Did he?
Yeah. He got married this weekend. So
now he's evil.
Rest of him.
Dose? Evil?
Yeah.
No, he's
evil plus one.
Yeah. Uno.
Uno plus one.
Shout out Evil. I didn't think Evil Uno was going to come up in this podcast, but man.
You never know where he's going to pop up.
Slid his way in there. But yeah, that was a good match. Benoit and Sullivan. I would assume that is over, that feud, but good stuff from both guys, I thought.
Yeah.
So we move on from Dungeon of Doom to Four Horsemen. We got more turmoil in the stables, some may say. Jeff Jarrett defending the U.S. title against Steve Mongo McMichael. Jarrett has officially been kicked out of the Horsemen a few weeks ago on Nitro, and he's none too pleased with this. Blamed him and Mongo have been teaming for a while. They've been quote unquote accidentally costing each other matches, and now it's just come to a head. And a couple guys fighting each other. Deborah's in the middle, kind of sort of, because Deborah's shown support of Jarrett in the past, but then she turned on him to get back with Mongo, and then we have the whole end of this match, which throws a whole other monkey wrench into it.
Yeah.
So I was like jotting down notes as I was watching this. I was like, who is the babyface supposed to be here? Because Deborah is so unlikable here, and Jarrett's also being a dick. Mongo's kind of just being Mongo. But once we got to the finish, I was like, oh, that kind of makes sense how we've gotten there.
I think going into it, you're thinking probably Jarrett is the quote unquote face. And Mongo is still a heel because the Four Horsemen are heels.
Right.
But yeah, at the end of this, you're like, oh no, Mongo might be the face.
I think so. So. But I mean, as far as the match itself, though, it was fine. Nothing that shook my world. But
Mongo's always been an interesting wrestler to me because of the way he wrestles.
Mm-hmm.
He wrestles how I would expect an athlete to be, like a football player, trained wrestler to wrestle. And it's very interesting to watch because sometimes he'll hit a move perfectly. You're like, whoa, that's crazy. And then he'll just botch like 10 in a row. You're just like, okay, there's Mongo.
I love Mongo, but man, at the beginning of this match, he like takes the US title from Jarrett and then goes to get to the second rope to like cheer with it, and he misses the bottom rope and like almost eats shit.
It's like it's so much fun to watch Mongo just because you don't know what to get. You don't know what you're gonna get. And he's
I like that though.
He's still an incredible athlete, and so like he's still being able to do these things, and it still looks somewhat natural. But then you'll watch it and be like, "Ooh, I don't know about that one." He's like, you might have put a little too much into that.
Dude, it's just like it was almost like it was in between a boss man slam and a spear.
Yeah,
It looked so good though. There's no way he'll ever be able to hit it that perfectly again. But
he'll just hit moves that are like combos of other moves that like just because he did it wrong, he's like comboed into a new move. You're just like, oh, yeah. What is Mongo doing?
He's just a revolutionary, man. He's just ahead of the game.
Yeah, he's ahead of his time, and nobody's studying his film.
Yeah. I agree. He's like just a meathead dude.
Yeah.
That played football and also happens to wrestle, and it comes off very much like that. The chop blocks he incorporates into his offense is perfect. The front chop blocks. But man, this finish. So I was confused watching this, but it all kind of ended up making sense. So Jarrett. So Jarrett he's using the chop blocks, goes to lock in the figure 4 onto Mongo, but Deborah's on the apron, and this distracts Jarrett. And then as Jarrett and Deborah are jawing, wait, no, hold on, because Jarrett ends up with the Halliburton briefcase at some point from Deborah, and it's kind of played off like he steals it from her. Yeah, but ultimately it ends up she just gave it to her. Gave it to him, yeah. And then Jarrett hits Mongo. Goes to hit him in the head, but Mongo, because like, why wouldn't you block it with your arm just out of instinct?
Yeah.
Hits Mongo in the forearm with it, and then in the head.
Mongo. Yeah,
a classic Mongo, but bashes him with this briefcase. Jarrett makes the pin, gets the 1, 2, 3, and retains the title. But more importantly, I guess steals Deborah.
Yeah,
from
Deborah, which feels like the prize of this match.
Seems like I don't know if that's a prize I want.
Me neither, but
I mean, she's a lovely lady, but good golly, she's annoying.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess foreshadowing into WWE Jarrett, by the way, as well.
Yep. Jarrett has always also been one of those that I've really enjoyed watching. Never thought he had any like 5-star classics, but Jarrett gets on, it's going to be entertainment, regardless of what he's doing, where he's talking, wrestling, whatever. He's 100% an entertainer, and he's very good at it.
No, he's good. Yeah, he's definitely a guy that's that I've acquired a taste for him over time. Like I didn't used to be a big Jarrett guy, but at some point it's like, he kind of like his TNA run. It's like, it's a Jeff Jarrett match, but it's entertaining. Like you said, it's not gonna be a 5-star classic, but it'll be fun.
Like one of my favorite parts of like the old Monday Night Raw was Jeff Jarrett and the Road Dogg. When Jeff Jarrett wrote a country song supposedly
with My Baby Tonight.
Yeah, with My Baby Tonight, and then Road Dogg was like, I wrote that song. That's me singing on this track. They had like a month-long feud over who sang this song.
And then they never like wrapped it up because they both just quit. That's the whole thing. Then he comes back, gets squashed by Ahmed Johnson, then leaves again. Now he's here, and then he's gonna be leaving here pretty soon to go back. Like,
and then he bounced back and forth more than anybody. It's like they just had like contracts waiting for him as soon as he was done with the other place.
He just vacationed at the other promotion.
6 months here, 6 months there.
Yeah, a little TNA there. A little G was a stupid promotion he started, like GCW or Global Force Wrestling.
Yes, yeah.
GFW. Famous Global Force Wrestling. Who could forget?
Yes.
Who could forget?
Cody Rhodes is the only champion.
Is he really?
Yep.
Well, good for him, I guess.
I don't think he ever defended it.
If it
I think he
beats
won
me.
the match, like won the belt, and I don't think he ever got a chance to defend it. I think it went defunct before he could.
Or is he still the champion?
Technically, he still would be the champion. So
It's like how Jack Swagger is still the Lucha Underground champion.
yeah,
in canon.
Man, I wish Lucha Underground would come back.
Man, everybody is unfortunately under contract with somebody else, but it would just be like Marty the Moth versus who else? Who wasn't under contract? That was big. Jack Evans, maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, just about everybody that worked Lucha Underground is now either with AEW or WWE. So kind of crazy to think about, but good for them.
But after that, we cut to Gene Okerlund. He's plugging the hotline. I would assume you never called the hotline back in your day.
No, never got the chance. I did for American Idol. I remember doing that, but never got to for WWE.
Oh, like you voted, or
yes,
like...
yeah. We would watch it every week and then vote. We'd call in 10 times.
Wow, who was like your guy or girl on American Idol? If you remember.
My mom was friends with Mandisa. And so she was on American Idol, pretty deep into American Idol one year. So I remember voting for her, and like trying to get like my teacher's phone in school to vote for her.
Mandisa street team.
This is definitely pre cell phone. Like I didn't have a cell phone. My parents had them, but they were like early cell phones, like pocket cell phones. And so I tried to get my teacher to call and vote for her.
Spreading the good word.
Spreading the gospel here, buddy.
I was more of a Chris Daughtry guy, but you know.
I do love Chris Daughtry. Big Chris Daughtry fan.
Daughtry fucks. Yeah.
So good.
But somebody who doesn't fuck as much is Hulk Hogan.
Yeah.
He's here. Him and Dennis Rodman, they have a little pre-tape promo here. I don't know. My brain just turned off when they started talking. I feel like they're just babbling about nothing.
You and me both, yeah. Like I remember I watched that like when I was taking my notes, and then at the end of the show, I was like, "Did Rodman and Hogan cut a promo?" I was like, "I must not have been important because I don't think they referenced it."
The fever dream.
Yeah.
Man, but much more on them later. Don't you worry, folks.
Yeah. Of course.
Before that, we got mystery partners going to be unveiled. We got the NWO, represented by Scott Hall and Macho Man, going up against DDP and a partner of his choosing. And all the scuttlebutt, is it going to be Raven? Is it going to be, I think, Sid? I don't know if Sid was a free agent at this point. Maybe a little bit early. I feel like I want Sid chants during this show at some point.
Yeah, I think Sid had just re-signed with the WWE at this point.
Possibly. Do you have any idea like who else it could have been at this point? I mean, I know you were young at the time, but like I was trying to like think like who was like a free agent.
There's a good
question. 97.
It's hard to know maybe? Because it wasn't like it's not like now when you can go look at like who's a free agent. You could just go to their Twitter profile or something and it'd be free agent or whatever. Then you had to like be in the know on whose contract was up. You had to listen to Meltzer. So
right. Yeah. Can only do so much of that.
So I don't even remember who would be or who would have their contract up.
Somebody in house, maybe a Prince Iakea, maybe
like somebody in house would have been interesting. I had a thought for this match. I could Sting. That's who it was. I wonder if it'll be Sting.
We get Sting later. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Giant Sting.
Yeah, definitely not Sting.
Which, by the way, during this match, I was like, why isn't it Kevin Nash with Scott Hall? Where's Nash at? And we figured it out later.
Yeah.
So DDP comes out, and then he kind of just pauses and he points towards the stage to unveil his partner, Kurt Hennig, Mr. Perfect here. And he actually showed up on Nitro the week before, or 2 weeks before, whatever it was. This will be his first match. Actually, his first match in like 4 years at this point, because he had the whole Lloyds of London, I believe.
Mhm.
So he couldn't wrestle for a while, but I guess now he can. So we got Kurt Hennig here as DDP's partner to take on the NWO. And I mean, very just kind of a brief glimpse at Perfect here in the match.
Mhm.
I mean, there was a lot. It felt like there was more like shit talking in this match than actual
Yeah.
wrestling.
Yeah.
I don't know. What you think about this one?
Like the card starts to decline. Like is starting at this match. Like Jarrett and Mongo was entertaining, and then you get to this one, you're like, okay, so let's keep moving.
Yeah.
But I cackled at the beginning of this match because they were like, who is it? Who is it? And through very, very thin smoke, you can see it's Kurt.
I can't see behind the smoke. Who is that?
It's like, that's very clearly Kurt.
You mean the guy with a towel and a singlet? Yeah, it's probably the guy that we've seen on Nitro the week before. Yeah, it's probably him.
That cracked me up. I know there's like a trope of like that happens, but this is the first time that I've like watched it and been like, this is very clearly who this is.
But even like if they just didn't, if this was like his first appearance, it would have been so cool.
Yeah, for sure.
Or at least like have his like, because it's just DDP coming out to his music, and it's just Perfect coming out as the music is still like if he had his like own entrance and its own pop and circumstance, like it'd be something.
Yeah,
but it's like, oh, Perfect's here. All right, let's get to it.
All right, bring the NWO.
Yeah, the match. It's. I mean, I appreciate like the how hot this like DDP's super hot at this point.
Yes.
People are excited to see Kurt Hennig in the ring, and the NWO is red hot as well. So all of the pieces kind of made this like a very like the atmosphere.
The atmosphere was very good. I have a note on here that says match felt much longer than 9 minutes. And I think I meant that in a negative way. Like I finished watching, I was like, that was only 9 minutes.
So because I know that Perfect joins the NWO at some point, but I don't know exactly like where in the timeline it happens. So I was expecting Perfect to just like not like go against Hall and Macho. So my whole time watching this, I'm like, oh, he's not doing anything because he doesn't want to hurt the guys he's teaming with. But he ends up he was throwing right hands at Scott Hall, and he's doing whatever the hell.
And I think it is very, very soon when he joins, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, it's kind of up in the air. This match. Yeah, which I think I like. I don't love how they got there, but I like the idea of like.
Yeah.
Is he with the NWO? Is he not with the NWO? Like, where does he stand? Like, it creates intrigue, which I appreciate.
Yeah.
But the method in them, like, I think on paper, it was probably sounded a lot better than it.
Yeah. It's definitely one of those is like on paper, this looks really, really good. Randy Savage, Scott Hall, Kurt Hennig, and Diamond Dallas Page is like, what could go wrong? And then it's like, oh, it wasn't exciting.
In the finish, so it's like DDP gets thrown over the top rope and he's hanging on the for whatever. It's not a Royal Rumble. I don't know why he's hanging on the top rope, but
he just doesn't want to fall.
He's a tall dude. It's like 2 inches below the floor. I don't know, but and then so as DDP is hanging on the top rope on the outside, Perfect gets whipped into the rope, and he kind of gets sent to the outside because he's doing the pulling the rope, so Perfect goes to the outside, and then Perfect, he's like, "Why'd you do that on purpose?" And he gives him a double axe to the back, and then just walks away. It was like bit of a short fuse on this Kurt. I feel like I feel like that's something you could have talked out.
Yeah,
Be like, hey, did you do that on purpose?
yeah.
And then you would be like, no.
It was like, it wasn't like he didn't see him before he, Henning hit the ropes. Like,
Yeah. It's,
It's like,
it's,
oh,
it's
it is what it is. But hey, Henning seemed to want to get out of there. So
but maybe that was intentional all along. We got to tune into Nitro
yeah,
tomorrow night.
it definitely does a good job of like pointing you to Nitro. They do a really good job of pointing you to Nitro for the next night to see the response of this, and see the response of Raven and all this stuff. They do a really good job of saying, hey, make sure to tune into Nitro tomorrow night. Get the answers on this.
Yeah, no, for sure, because he's perfect. He smashes DDP, throws him in the ring.
Yeah.
Scott Hall hits the Razor's Edge. Macho Man with the big elbow drop gets the win. So the NWO wins. But the story here is perfect with the NWO or not. And like you said, we'll find out tomorrow night, pal. Gotta tune in.
Find out tomorrow night on Nitro.
But man, we shift from that to old Roddy Piper versus Ric Flair. Now this is it's like you look at this and you look at Jericho and Ultimo Dragon, they're very different matches.
Yes. Yeah.
I personally I honestly am more inclined to enjoy Roddy Piper versus not I'll say I appreciate the story coming into this. Like there's another match that had like a good atmosphere to it, like Roddy Piper, Ric Flair, like two guys trying to out heel each other. Like I thought that was fun. Actually, I think I do. If Jericho and Dragon had a hotter crowd and like a more exciting atmosphere, I think I might lean more that way. But with this one, it was just so fun. Like it's just guys chopping each other and punching each other. Just a couple of like guys past their prime, just shit talking each other. Which I don't know. I have a taste for that, I guess.
They're definitely, maybe not far past their prime, but their prime is definitely a couple years ago.
I mean, Piper might be in his physical prime. I mean, he's jacked to the gills at this point.
Great. But yeah, it was funny that the commentary was like very adamant that these guys were in their prime the entire match. They're like, these two are in their prime. And I'm like, I don't know about that.
Well, if we're looking at Flair's career, I mean, is he even halfway into his career at this point? I don't even know if he is.
I don't think so. I mean, his retirement match was what, in 2022?
Exactly. He wrestled 25 years ago, 25 years after this, and probably 25 years before. I don't know when he started. But.
I mean, to be fair, he didn't have like a match. I think, when was that match with Shawn Michaels?
That was 2008, I believe. Yeah,
and so he had that one, and then I think, if I remember correctly, the next one would be 2022 with his AEW retirement match.
Well, he had TNA. He had a little TNA run after WWE.
Yeah, you're right. You are right. I didn't watch a lot of TNA, so there's a lot of that stuff that I just like. It's almost like a blank memory.
You should dig into that. Yeah. You should dig into TNA.
I know about these things, but I don't know about these things, so they just slip my mind easily. I do enjoy it on YouTube. Matches. Yeah, on YouTube, the TNA does. They'll do like all day marathons of like a year.
Oh yeah,
I don't know if you tuned into that, but that's really fun. But yeah, I think last week I watched it and they're doing like 2017. They just started January 1, and we're just playing them straight through.
They got full pay-per-views from like the mid or late 2000s. So if you're that's the spot if you ever want to check out TNA.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
But no TNA here, just Roddy Piper, Ric Flair.
Yeah, I have watched the first episode of TNA. I don't know if you've watched that. That is just crazy.
That's not TNA. Asylum TNA is not TNA. That's just a weird like afterbirth of WCW.
Insane.
It's Lex Luger versus AJ Styles. It's like, what? This is a match that happened?
Yeah.
Sandman, New Jack are here. What the hell's going on? This is whoever WWE didn't want.
Yeah, pretty much.
But yeah, if you kind of imagine what this match would be, even if you haven't watched, there's chops and
Yeah.
punches, the figure four spot with the counter by rolling over. Roddy locks in his sleeper, but Flair counters with a jawbreaker. You got feet on the ropes pins. You got horseman run-ins.
Yep.
Seeing Mongo give a tombstone to Roddy Piper was just a funny image. I don't know why.
With his like bandaged arm. You got hit with the briefcase. He had to bandage the arm.
I do like that though. Like each of those guys had brutal matches, particularly Benoit, but they're like, no, we're still in the Horsemen. We'll still help you out, Rick.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. But that tombstone gets hit, and Flair goes for the pin, only for a 2 count. So you got some pretty good near falls here towards the end.
Yeah.
There's a particular spot where I don't know, this gets me. It's like Flair's chopping Roddy, and Roddy just like shrugs it off, and he's like he's this like black and blue chest. He's like staring down Flair like, fuck you, pal.
Also, Roddy has a clothesline to Flair on the ropes at one point, and he hits him really low.
Oh yeah,
he hits him about right here.
nip line. Maybe Flair liked it. I don't know. I'm not here to judge.
I do hear that Flair is a freak, so
I wouldn't put it past him. But Roddy eventually locks in the sleeper on to Ric Flair, and Ric Flair with the 1-2, like the ref lifts his arm up, and I feel like I never see it actually fall for the 3rd time, but it happened here.
Very rare, but I enjoy when it happens. Actually, I don't think it should happen every time, but it is something that, like, every once in a while somebody should tap out by the arm raise.
I feel like in modern day we've gotten to this spot where either you just pass out and the referee just calls it without asking, or they do the arm raise and they stop at 2. Like, it feels like they never do it 3 times, which I feel like the 3 times thing, I think it just creates more drama.
Yeah. I think I saw a couple of weeks ago they did it, and it was just 1 arm raise and the arm dropped, and they're like, that's it.
Yeah.
I was like,
it's like, it's like, pick one. Like, I'm fine with either way. Just like,
historically, it's been 3.
I don't know. Because Gunther won the world title that way. Jay was out and he's like, oh, see ya, Jay.
See ya. That's it.
I got all the info I need.
Yep. No rebuttal here.
But the rise of Roddy Piper continues here in 1997. Only good things for him, I would assume. So, he beat Hulk Hogan earlier in the year, so one would think he deserves a title shot. So, who knows? But speaking of which, speaking of the Hulkster, we're at the main event, ladies and gentlemen. We got, I don't know, just looking at these names, this makes me laugh. We got a tag team match, the team of Lex Luger and the Giant versus Hollywood Hulk Hogan and Dennis Rodman.
With Randy Savage, can't forget that.
Of course. He's very active in this match as well. So cannot forget him. Man, how do we even?
What a match!
I'll be honest, I kind of liked Rodman's part of this match, because I've never seen this match before. I didn't know what to expect. I thought he held his own for just an athlete coming in.
But there was like a lot of dead space with Rodman as well. There was like a lot of just whoa. And then they do like an arm drag and be like, whoa.
The crowd was eating it up though, man. He did an arm drag and the crowd just they're throwing their babies into the ring.
Yeah.
The crowd, by the way, I love the gradual trash getting thrown into the ring just from the opening bell all the way throughout. What a time.
In my opinion, Hogan and Luger carried this match because, Giant didn't really do much. He was on the outside for a majority of this match. And that's me saying that even as not a huge Hogan fan. I don't know, even watching this the first time, I remember being like, this is Hulk Hogan. There's a point where Flair does a good heel you know, all that kind of stuff, all the antics and whatnot. And then you watch Hogan do it, and I'm like, this looks like a cartoonish.
It's very corny. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like, and then I watch like some of his, good guy stuff, and at the same time, I'm like, this is still very corny. Like, yeah, I don't know. I just can't get behind it.
It just doesn't fit. Like when Nash and Hall showed up, they had this like just legit, like this is how guys talk. Like we're just like assholes. We're cocky. But this is how people talk in the real. We're not doing this fucking Road Warriors. Now this Sunday, I'm gonna take it. Like we're not. We're just talking. We're just guys. Fuck you. I got a big dick. And then
bad dudes. Like that's just it.
And then Hogan comes in. Let me tell you something. I'm a heel now, but I still talk like this. Like I don't know. It's just at the time it was just so crazy to see Hogan as a heel that I think people like didn't care.
Yeah, very true. Like Hogan as a heel was absolutely like world shattering to a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
And even like past the WWF and like WCW context, it was like insane.
Mm-hmm.
So it is a crazy moment in time, but still watching Hogan, I'm like, I don't know, man. I don't know how this guy is like the pinnacle of wrestling.
the promo earlier, the big stinky giant and Flexi Lexi, like I said, that's what you went with? God damn it.
You're a heel, not a children's villain.
You big stinky giant. God, fuck you, Hogan. Oh man. Well,
I do know my notes that Hogan looked like an old wallet. I did write that down.
I've heard from people that have met Hulk Hogan that his tan looks really good in person. Now I cannot confirm or deny, but yes, he did look like a wallet. Yes.
Yeah, on camera, this looked awful.
Just too wet, maybe. I think. I don't know.
He like got hit in the chest, and his chest like rippled and almost stayed the way it was. Like almost like a permanent ripple. Like I remember looking at him one time, and like one of his nipples had like caved up under his like chest. I was like, what is going on?
See, this is why you noticed those details. I'm not doing the analysis on the nipples, but maybe I need to start.
I think it was I like paused it to go to the bathroom, and I came back and looked, and I was like, what's wrong with Hogan's?
Now it's your screensaver. It's inverted nipple. But yeah, it is like a very slow start. Like they are very just like absorbing the crowd. There's apparently a very watched pay-per-view just to see Dennis Rodman was he was big in pop culture, the Bulls, all that stuff. Yeah. So like to see him in a main event in WCW, which also happens to be hot. Like it was just all culminating. It was all intersecting.
Crazy thing. He main evented the next year too.
Did he? Was that the Karl Malone match?
I don't remember if it was Karl Malone.
I feel like that's sooner. I could be wrong though.
Yeah, he did main event with Hogan the following year. So
just keep on doing it. Keep on doing it.
I don't think I've seen Bash 98. I might need to go back and watch that, but I do remember that Rodman is main eventing with Hogan again.
Jeez, I didn't know he stuck around that long. That's crazy. Because
I think he was around for he wasn't around weekly, but he'd be around, post basketball season.
Right.
Doing whatever.
Interesting. Because he's never been in a match at this point, so this is his first match, so nobody knows what to expect. And when he busts out that arm drag on Lex Luger, everybody's like, what the hell? He's actually doing wrestling moves.
Yeah.
And then
it looked like they only taught him to lock up and then an arm drag.
And a leapfrog.
Yeah, and a leapfrog.
Which that's what he does in basketball, I guess. It just happens to be in a ring.
Watching into that realization, I was like, they taught him 3 moves.
Yeah.
Like, hope he makes it out.
his repertoire was pretty shallow because he tries to do the arm drag again. He's like, oh, I did it once. I'm going to do it again. But this time Lex has it scouted, and Lex arm drags Rodman. And because, by the way, the first arm drag, Rodman still has his sunglasses, his bandana, all of his get up on. And then when he gets arm dragged, his bandana flies off, his glasses shatter. All of his accessories are just...
There's a great detail that probably wasn't on purpose.
Because he goes from this cool, like, I get my glasses, I'm all black, and then all of a sudden it's, oh, I have sherbet pink hair and the eyeliner, and I don't know what this face paint deal. I mean, obviously it's Dennis Rodman, like he's the flamboyant dude, but like, I don't know what he was going for. The sparkly, like, I face paint and all that shit, but But yeah, Rodman gets arm dragged, and it's just like this state of panic. Hogan's like, "Oh, brother! Oh, how did he do that, brother? Oh my God, brother!" It's like not good, but there is an entertainment value to watching. Just all of this like nonsense.
Hogan's freaking out. I was like, "What did you expect, Hogan?" Like he's a
you can't do that. You can't do that, brother, dude. It's like, wrestling match. It's just like the little things, though, in this match are getting an explosive reaction from the crowd. So it's a testament to everything that's been built up, I guess. And then Rodman, he does a leapfrog, and then but then gets clothesline. And he's like, all right, I'm out of here. Tags Hogan back in.
Yeah.
And then we get finally Lex tags in Giant. So now we got Giant and Hogan going at it, which these guys have wrestled each other a bunch already in WCW.
Yeah.
None of it's been very good, but for whatever reason, at least in this arena at this moment, it felt like a big deal. The crowd was like, oh shit, we got Giant versus Hogan. It's like, all right, we've had like a bunch of snooze fests between these guys already. It's like, why is this any special? But
Giant, going over to WWE and becoming a Big Show is when he actually gets good. In my opinion, I remember Undertaker interview where he said that they signed Big Show, and he couldn't last more than like 3 minutes in the ring without like having to take a break. They had to like break him of that. And once he got to the point where he could do longer than 3 minutes in a ring, he was really fun and really entertaining. But at this point, he's just a big guy. That's
but you can argue that's all he needs to be, like just a lumbering, like let me chop you in the chest kind of deal. But at some point,
he doesn't have to move around a lot, and it just kind of,
But it's not a ton happening in this match. I mean, there's Rodman. At some point, Rodman just becomes another wrestler in the match, which is crazy. He's tagging in, whatever. I'll go at Giant. He tries to leapfrog Giant, but he catches him into a bear hug, and then Giant spanks Rodman. Thoughts?
Yeah, that was crazy, but I'm sure Rodman probably liked it a little bit.
That's probably his call, right? He probably put that in the notes.
He said, slap my ass. And come on.
They're locked up. All right. Well, give me a spanking. People are gonna love it.
Get those big bear paws you have.
Really lay it in. The match is going on. Hogan and Rodman with a double hip toss to Giant, which looked pretty sick. I will give props though to Rodman. Like sometimes these celebrities get in and they just like focus on what moves they're doing and like trying to hit that stuff. But Rodman's got the charisma, he's got the in between, he's feeding off the crowd. Like there's like Rodman sucks chants, and he'll stop and be like, oh, what? So he's got that element to it. Like he if he wanted to be a pro wrestler instead of a basketball player, I feel like he could have done that. Yeah,
like as far as celebrity like one-offs or whatever, because it's not really a one-off. His is really good. Because you'll have like there are a few celebrities that I could see getting in a wrestling ring and like carrying their own. Dennis Rodman would be one of those. Like Stephen Amell. He's been a long time fan of wrestling. Of course, some of that has been absorbed. So if he gets in a ring, he probably knows a handful of things. But yeah, it was better showing than I expected, but still not like blow your mind showing. Out of Rodman.
And then it kind of breaks down. I mean, it's been breaking down since the beginning.
Yeah,
but,
never fully together here.
It's chaos in the ring. Everybody's kind of out, and then out comes Sting, who has appeared to have received the growth spurt in the past couple weeks.
Appeared to have gotten big.
He's been
taking them PEDs.
Yeah. Does that make you taller? That's incredible. The science in 1997 was off the charts.
They say that's why Peyton Manning's forehead was so big.
Oh, good.
I don't
know.
I mean, that's a couple inches at least.
Every inch counts. Giant Sting comes out, and well, he doesn't even pretend to like not be a. He like goes over the top rope. It's got a mask on instead of the face paint. It's like, all right.
It's like very clearly not Sting.
Yeah. Commentary kind of sells it.
Yeah, they're gonna argue on Nitro. Was that Sting that helped the NWO?
And I couldn't really like, for some, like it should have been obvious, I guess, but I didn't really know who this was when I was watching it. Did you?
I just knew it wasn't Sting. I wasn't like, because I knew for a fact it wasn't Sting because it was way too tall. And so I knew that they had a fake Sting running around at some point, and so I just assumed it was fake Sting.
Apparently, or do you want to guess who it was? If you don't know?
It's Kevin Nash.
Yeah.
Which
I should have known. Like he wasn't in the match earlier, so I was like, oh, he's probably not in the. Maybe he had like another commitment, or he's injured or some shit. But like,
I just assumed he was injured.
But I guess it was Sting or Nash comes in as the fake Sting. It's
hair was longer.
Yeah. Has the diesel gloves.
Yeah. Very much taller and larger than Sting.
But in hindsight, him being like trying to be stoic, knowing it's Kevin Nash, being like, well, walk into the ring like the Undertaker, but knowing it's Kevin Nash is funny to me. He hits, I think, is it Giant? It doesn't matter. He hits somebody in the back with the bat. And Lex eventually, though, locks in the rack onto Hulk Hogan. And the ref was knocked out, by the way. I didn't even catch what happened.
Yeah.
So there's no ref. Lex puts the torture rack onto Hulk Hogan. In slides Nick Patrick, who has had a lot of beef with the NWO recently. So it's significant that it was him. He gets in there, sees the submission from Hulkster, calls for the bell. So Lex Luger has made the world champion submit.
Yep.
My goodness. And then Lex he gives the rack to Rodman, to Macho Man.
He's just handing out racks.
Racks on racks on racks. That's something.
Rack City.
This fucking guy. Look at this guy. Here's the good joke alarm. Love it. And so Lex and Giant win, and it's pretty much where the show ends. So it was kind of it was better than I expected, but ultimately it was the type of match that you would expect from this, I guess.
Most definitely. Like in hindsight, you're like, oh, it wasn't that bad, but
I was sports entertained by it.
Yeah, it was sports entertainment for sure.
I mean, we could have had.
I got off this and watched Samoa Joe versus Kenta Kobashi.
That was like a cold shower. You had to
like I was just on Twitter and somebody posted it, and I was like, oh. And I watched that and I was like, wow, that match sucked.
Joe and Kobashi, right? That sucked. It didn't have near the pop and circumstance of this 100.
Match. But yeah, I was like thinking back, I was like, wow, that Hogan sucks, and Giant didn't do anything, and like Luger really did everything.
Well, I mean, we could have just, maybe have like Samoa Joe versus Hulk Hogan. Maybe that would have been good, huh?
Samoa Joe would have killed Hulk Hogan.
Technically, could still happen.
It
we'll
could
see.
still happen. And I still believe that Samoa Joe would kill Hulk Hogan.
Yeah, there's no point in time where I think
Hogan
comes on the good end of that. You're probably right.
If he does end up getting creative control and winning, he does not come out healthy. That's for sure.
No. That wallet will be torn up.
Folded.
You know what I'm saying? It's going to start out a bifold and it's going to be a trifold.
Yeah.
I don't even know what that means, but yeah. So Bash at the Beach 97. If you had to grade the show from 0 to 100, what do you think you would throw at it?
Off the rip, 67.
I think that's fair.
Yep.
There was like overall top down. I think it's a good show. There was some low points, I guess. I guess it depends what your tastes are, but I mean, I was pretty entertained throughout for different levels and different flavors of entertainment. But I had fun. Watching it. Speaking of fun, it's a fun time having you on here. Appreciate you making the time, check out the show. Come on, talk about. Where can everybody find you, taste you, listen to you, watch you, all that stuff?
You can find me on any social media at Blackhawk Walker. YouTube Blackhawk Walker. I'll have a video coming out, I guess, as of recording tomorrow. I'm not sure when you're planning on posting this.
So this will be on Wednesday, July 2nd. This will be out.
Okay. So I'll probably have another video out. I'll have a video out tomorrow.
Hell yeah.
Because Thursday's my posting day. So I'll have a video out tomorrow. Not sure what it's going to be about yet, but come check it out. Got a Discord. Come hang out. I'm always around somewhere, so you go find Blackhawk Walker. You'll find me. So
hell yeah, gonna do a deep dive into Dennis Rodman's archives, maybe.
Yes, I think I should. His 3 matches.
yeah. Watch him several times. Compare
and contrast Dennis Rodman. Compare and contrast his WCW matches to his 96 Bulls appearance.
Oh, that's something. We'll take this offline. There's too much gold here to just record this for free. Let me hit end here.
Once again, thank you to Blackhawk Walker for joining me on this program. It was a good old time with my boy Black. I'm not going to call him that. With my boy Walker. Blackhawk. I was calling Blackhawk. Blackhawk. Anyways, go check him out. YouTube, Twitch, Discord, Twitter, X, Instagram, MySpace, Omegle, Tout, all that stuff. Go follow him. All this is in the description below. And hey, you know what we got to do? Hit that goddamn jingle, Bartholomew.
WCW, ECW, WWF, who's the hardest promotion? Eric or Vince or Paulie? I think we can agree, though. Heck Myers is the shit.
Oh, fuck. I don't know. Hardest. I hope somebody's listening to this in the office. I don't know why. Actually, I don't hope you're doing that. Don't do that. You're going to lose your job. Hardest promotion battle of 1997 continues. WCW versus WWF versus ECW. Current score. We'll get into the scoring system and all that here in a second. But just to recap the overall score as of this moment in time, roughly midway through 1997, WCW is in the lead with 29 points. ECW in second with 25, and WWF pulling up the rear with only 4 points. But we can see major changes pretty quickly, as we've seen in the past. So let's check this out. If you're watching on YouTube, I'm sharing my screen so you can follow along visually. If you're listening in audio land, I will walk you through it as well. But the first thing we got to do before we get to anything is grade this show. From a scale of 0 to 100, what the heck are we thinking, gang? I believe we said like mid 60s just a second ago, but now that I've had time to marinate on it, what do we think? 65 maybe? Canadian Stampede was a 65. I think this was better than Canadian Stampede. Great American Bash was a 71. Man, my memory is fried. What the hell happened on WCW Great American Bash 1997? We'll use that as a guide to make sure just that we're weighting this all consistently. You know what I'm saying? I believe this was DDP Randy Savage main event. Outsiders versus Flair and Piper. You got another death match between Benoit and Ming. Medusa, her career's over. I'm looking at this card. I mean, Psychosis Ultimo Dragon was fun. Wrath and Glacier is always a hoot. I think the show was a tad better than Great American Bash, and we gave that a 71. I'm thinking maybe 74. I really enjoyed this show. 74 uncensored got a 78. You know what? I might bump up Bash at the Beach to 76. Barely Legal got the same score. I think 76 actually feels nice. I like that. I like how that tastes. So WCW with a 76. Good stuff, gang. Good. I kind of feel like I'm rating all this stuff a little low, but it's consistently low as I'm looking at all the scores I've been given. Man, is 76 too low? Nah, I think it's pretty fair. So we'll refresh this. And let's see here. So ECW still has the highest average grade as of right now. They've only had a couple shows, but they've been pretty good ones. So good stuff. All right. So ECW still has the highest average grade with a 75. So we go back to the overall scoreboard. And the first row here is highest average score of pay-per-views, in which ECW, technically, they've not all been pay-per-views, but you know what I mean. So ECW still has the highest. So they maintain those 15 points. Sorry. I think I was on planes and automobiles. I'm a little nasally. I apologize, everybody. ECW maintains those 15 points. So no changes to the scoreboard yet. Best TV product is our next category. We are tracking WCW as the best, and I am inclined to leave it that way. Nitro has been red fucking hot. Just a fun show to watch. Everything has stakes. Not even stakes necessarily. Just everything has like a reason to watch. There's always like a movement in a story or something, right? It's just a very engaging TV show, whereas Raw has some good stuff. ECW has some good stuff. A lot of it's just kind of like clips from house shows and stuff and highlights from the pay-per-views. So I'm going to keep it at WCW for now. Just a very strong television program. Best in-ring. Just overall best in-ring. We're tracking WCW. Yeah, I see no reason to change that. I mean, it was a very strong showing with this show. So no reason to change that. Best out of ring as well, I think. I think we'll keep those both WCW as I mean they're killing it, man. They're killing it. The storylines, the characters, the in-ring, the cruiserweight stuff. No, I mean, the WWF has just started their light heavyweight division, and that's just a testament to how effective this cruiserweight division was for WCW's. And now we got WWF just, just ripping that off in a less than stellar way. So yeah, so no changes so far. But let's go to the best section. So we're going to look at the best match, wrestler, character / storyline, and segment. So best match of the year so far, we are tracking Bret Hart versus Steve Austin from WrestleMania as the best. It's going to be hard to knock that off. But there were some good ones on this show. There were some pretty good ones on this show. Let me just pull up the card here just to make sure I'm not forgetting something here. I want to make sure that everything is taken into account. Card. Here we go. Bing, bang, boom. So we had some good matches here. Flair Piper was good. Main event was fun. There's a lot of good matches on this show. I don't know if anything. I mean, Jericho Dragon was very good, but the lack of crowd investment just takes a little bit away from me. It takes enough away to make me not want to put this as match of the year. I'll put it that way. Yeah, a lot of good matches here. I don't think anything's better than Brett and Austin. So we're going to leave that as WWF so they keep those 5 points. For now, Wrestler of the Year, we are tracking Stone Cold Steve Austin as the best. Now, this takes into account in-ring and out-of-ring. I mean, Steve Austin, he's still red hot, and he's going to continue to rise for a while now. So it's always been a battle between him and DDP in my mind for this. You could throw Lex Luger in there, I guess, if you wanted to. He's in the. I don't think he would be number one. Yeah. No one. I'm looking at this list here. No one. I mean, Steve Austin. He's the shining star of WWF right now. There's not a ton of great stuff going, but he's a strong. I mean, every time he's in the ring, it's red hot. Like we just talked about Brett. The Brett match from WrestleMania, the Undertaker match from In Your House a few months ago was great. The Hart Foundation, Canadian Stampede and all that stuff. So still a lot of great stuff here from old Steve. So we're going to leave him as Wrestler of the Year for now. Best character / storyline. We are tracking Taz. Just Taz. And that kind of encompasses the whole Taz versus this whole conglomeration of Bill Alfonso, RVD, Sabu, Jerry Lawler, Jim Cornette now, which we'll touch on soon. That stuff's all great. And Taz is just, I mean, whenever somebody's getting beat down in the ring, there's a huge "We Want Taz" chants. Just a testament to how strong of a character he is. And he's just tied up in so many things, and they're all good. TV champion, all that stuff. The stuff with Shane Douglas was good. Now, we could easily cop out and say NWO is the best. But not all of it has been good. I'll be honest with you. I'm a little, I don't know how much we touched on. I can't remember. But the whole separate, like we're already doing the Wolfpack and Black and White thing a little bit. It's kind of a test run, but I'm not loving it. I'm not loving how Nash, Hall, and Six feel separated from Hogan and Rodman and all that stuff. Like, I don't know. It's not all great for me right now. So we'll leave it as Taz for now. Although you could throw, DDP and Randy Savage. I don't know if this show necessarily would push that over the edge, though, in a good way. Lex Luger. Let's see here. I mean, the Benoit and Sullivan stuff has been really good. I think Taz edges him out, though. I think Taz still edges him out. So we'll leave it as ECW for now. Best segment of the year. We're tracking Jerry Lawler's debut at WrestlePalooza. Still just such a wild. If you haven't listened to that review yet, it was a few weeks ago. ECW WrestlePalooza in 1997. Go check it out. It was just a wild show. And this segment here was just bonkers. And still red hot. So, and I don't think there was the La Parka, the TDP dressing as La Parka, going up against Randy Savage. So Macho Man thought he was wrestling La Parka, and then all of a sudden La Parka gives him a diamond cutter and pins him. God, that was really good. But was that a segment, though? Do we consider that a segment? I guess, right? Man, if we had a top 3 list here, that would definitely be on the top 3 list. But I think Jerry Lawler's, just seeing him in the ECW environment and how rabid the crowd was, it's hard to beat that. So we'll leave it as Jerry Lawler for now. So ECW maintains those 5 points. So no changes to the scoreboard yet. But let's see if the worst section brings us some updates here. So we're going to look at those same criterias, but the worst. Worst match. Worst match of the year. Tracking Undertaker versus Sid from WrestleMania. Yeah. I mean, we're looking at this WCW show, and no show on this pay-per-view or any of the Nitros leading up to this was anywhere close to as bad as that match was. So WWF maintains those -3 points. Worst wrestler of the year. We are tracking Prince Iaukea. Again, haven't seen the Prince in a while. So while his little stint as TV champion was dog shit, it was pretty short. So at some point, I mean, like, his stuff was bad, but it wasn't a huge impact and it didn't have longevity. So can we really consider him the worst wrestler of the year if he just kind of came and went? But who else would go here is the question. That is the question. Anyone from WCW that I would throw on here? I don't think so. Not really. Not a lot of stinkers that are at least consistently on TV. Prince Iaukea. Anyone from WWF that I would throw on here? You could throw like a Savio Vega very easily on here. Crush. I think Crush was previously in this. We got Los Pericos, Nation Domination. You could throw the Road Warriors in here, honestly. I'm thinking. We're thinking. Who else is around? By the way, if there's anyone I'm overlooking, feel free to leave a comment on YouTube or Spotify. Join the Discord. Let's talk about it. But I think Prince Iaukea, I think we'll just leave the Prince here for now because nobody really jumps out at me. Nobody's jumping out like as just bad, right? We'll leave it as Prince Iaukea for now. Worst character / storyline. We're tracking the whole honky tonk, rockabilly, Jesse James business. Again, I think that's kind of done at this point. Rockabilly's still around, but there hasn't been a lot of interaction. So it was kind of a short-ish story. Although the honky tonk man looking for his man, that lasted for way too long. So a worse character or a storyline. I mean, nothing is jumping out at me. I mean, we're looking at, this is a WCW episode, and definitely nothing from WCW is worse. It's all pretty good. Yeah, I think we'll just leave it as Honky. Honky is still maintaining worst character. And last but not least, the worst segment of the year, Miss NWO. And again, not even going to think about it. Nothing's going to come close to this. Miss NWO from Sold Out. Absolutely terrible television from every single angle. So, yeah. So we're going to leave it as. So ultimately, all that to say, no changes. To the score this week. So we still got WCW in the lead with 29 points, ECW with 25, WWF with 4. But we got a red hot finish to 1997 on our way here. We got a lot of stuff. We got Kane debuting. We got Starrcade coming up. We got whatever the hell ECW is doing. Rick Rude just turned heel. That's a whole thing. But then he's coming to WWE. It's a wacky time for wrestling. And I am excited to be in this journey. And I'm excited to have you guys along this journey with me. And I appreciate you tuning in, watching, listening, tasting, all that stuff. Appreciate you guys. Love you all. Big ol' smooches all over that face of yours. I'm hard.
Yeah. And the hardest, talk around and disregard it. Strip you off the ground, show you what hard is. Standing strong and proud, nothing can knock it. Let's get it started. It's the hardest, talk around and disregard it. Strip you off the ground, show you what hard is. Standing strong and proud, nothing can knock it. Let's get it started.